Yeah. So that's what we're saying. So Yeravam and Avad was not machniv to Shlomo. Dave, you want to say over the story, or you passed it already in your malachim?
Oh no.
What?
No. You go for
I don't even remember. I'm asking you to say it.
Yeah.
It's too many people.
No, when Shlomo went and built when Shlomo went, he started with the wives, and this Yeravam and Avad told him not to. I gave him mussar about it. So that's what we're saying. Because of that, meaning Shlomo was the most powerful person in the world, right? And he wasn't machniv himself to him. So because of that, he was zeicha to some form of melucha. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Daf Samach Gimel. Last. What are we talking about? Monday to last four blocks.
That mussar was a double-edged sword.
Oh, that's true, Tuck. What do you mean? That what the result was? The result that came from it.
He yelled at him. He didn't do it. He did it in a very not nice way. And that's so he got punished for that. The same.
I don't know. These stories are not. If you're darned if you do, and you're darned if you don't. Right? Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So we're up to the last four blocks of Nazir. A lot of Tumah and Tara. Like mamash like learning Tyrus over here. These last couple of blocks. Okay, so we'll try and get through it. So so tonight's daf is basically Amud Aleph talks about a certain type of Tumah called Tumas HaTahaim, which we had a couple of times before. So Tumas HaTahaim is basically. The Tahaim means mamish in the depths of the world where nobody sees anything. So Tumas Tahaim is an unknown Tumah. So we're much more makel based on which the Gemara is going to say is as halacha l'maishem Sinai. The Tumas Tahaim is much more makel. That's basically Amud Aleph, and then on Amud Beis, the Gemara is going to talk about. The Nazir, when he becomes, Amud Aleph also talks about this, the Nazir, when he becomes, if he's finished his Nazirus, then he becomes Tameh, either before he brings the Karbanos, or before he takes a haircut, or after he takes a haircut. Does he have to restart again? Does he have to restart 7 days? Does he have to restart for 30 days? Right, so that's and when exactly it all happens, it's right, depending on when it happens, that will make a difference. And also, what happens if he became Tomei in the middle of his Nazirus, but he didn't find out about it till later, right? So that's tonight's sugi Bez Hashem. Okay, so Zok the Mishnah. Yeah, Samachim Alaf Mamash on the top, right? We got up to. Yeah, so Nazir Shagilach, you have a Nazir who took his haircut, Shehu Tamei, and then he found out that he was Tamei. Right? So this means he finished he's totally done with everything. He took his haircuts, then he found that he's tumah. So in tumah you do so if it's a known tumah, right? Meaning it's somebody told him, by the way, on your way over to the Beis Hamikdash, you stopped into a house to get a drink, and there was a mace in there, right? So it was a known thing. So then he Saiser his whole Nazirus, and he has to go back and repeat the entire Nazirus. We'll see in the Gemara who exactly is going like V'im Tumas Tahaim, but if it was a Tumah from Tahaim, meaning it was a Tumah that nobody could have known about. The Gemara is going to say that Tumas Tahaim means if there's one person in the world that knows about this Tumah, it's not a Tumas Tahaim. Tumas Tahaim has to be so deep down into the bottom of the world that absolutely nobody in the world knows that this tumah even exists, right? So if that's the tumah, and then somehow they found out about it, right? So if they found out about it, then and that's what made him tamei. Ain't a soiser. That is not. He's not going to be soiser, right? Which we're going to say in the Gemara. That's halacha l'maishem Sinai. Right. That's case number one. Again, so if the Nazir was finished with everything, took his haircuts, right, and then he found that he was tamei. So then again, if it was a tumah that people knew about, So then he's done. He has to
But
repeat.
see, Yaakov, is there any other din
Yeah.
Lagabi Tumas Dohaim that's different besides for Nazir? Because L'chaira it's the same tumah, right?
It's the same tumah, but right. That's why you have to say. That's why we have to say it's Allah Moshe Messina.
I'm saying, but it's not. Is there any other? Let's say he touches kalim that are. Would those kalim still be tummy?
No, well, we're going to see in the Gemara that it's only negeya. The heter of Tahaim is only negeya to Nazir.
That's what I'm asking.
Pesach. For Truma,
and both
for
of those
Truma,
are
it's
Messina?
yes, yeah. Listen, Akiva bails us out. This Allah Moshe Messina. Right?
Who said there's around 5 Reb Chaims on it if you want?
5 Reb Chaims on which part?
On Tumas Atahayim, if you want. You can do it
Oh,
afterwards.
it's Bechlal on Tumas Atahim.
I would hope he didn't
Okay,
have
there'll
the
be
time on the Alach Moshe Messina. That would be kind of pointless.
There's a lot on Allah Moshe Messina because the Rambam. We'll discuss it in a few minutes. But there's a shredder Rambam on Allah Moshe Messina. But okay, everybody's invited to Shmuel's Chabura after the daf. If they want, Ian Naftali Liner will be the first person online. Yeah. Anyways, so that's what's saying.
One second. I didn't hear how it went off for a second. My phone. I heard that I want to be online for something. Parents giving away
Shmuel
food.
is going to give an Ian share on Reb Chaim on Tumas HaTahaim, and you're going to be the first person that's going to want, since you love doing the Tosfos and all those things. Anyways, okay, so that's what we're saying. So Tumas HaTahaim, if it's Tumas HaTahaim, then it doesn't make him tummy. Fine. That's case number 1. That's if he found that he became tummy after he took his haircuts. Iman Shaloi Gilach. But if he found out that he was tummy before he took the haircuts, right? Beinkach lu beinkach soiser, then it doesn't make a difference if it's tumas atahaim or regular tuma. It's going to be soiser, right? So now we're limiting the tumah, right? Akiva here, we're limiting the tumas atahaim to only if it happened after the haircuts. If it happened before the haircuts, then there's no difference between tumas atahaim and not. And what's a pshat? It's Allah Moshe Messina. Right, fine. Ketzad. So what's a case? Yorad litval b'ma'aron. So if he went down to be toivel in a cave, and you find that there was a dead person floating in the cave, you just have to imagine the Mesiras Nefesh it must have taken to go to the mikveh. I'm saying, I mean, you go into a cave, it's pitch dark, right? There's no lights in this cave. It couldn't have been the most pleasant water, certainly wasn't warm, and then you find out that there was a mace floating around in the water with you.
The guy wasn't answering him back. He was discussing how cold the water is. The guy had nothing to say.
The guy said,
"Stick him back, get back in the water, man."
He said he's speechless.
Maybe there was a shark in the mikvah.
Maybe. Yeah. Anyway,
anybody who went to the Arizal's mikvah years ago before they fixed it up knows how bitterly cold it was.
How
and
cold.
they say,
Yeah.
if you go to the mikvah, you'll do tshuva. I was like, if you get in this mikvah, you got to do tshuva right away because it feels like you're going to die. I mean, it was extremely cold. So I'm seconding your comments.
Yeah. So I'm saying,
I don't know about you, Doc. When I went in, I said a string of curse words and became a Nazir. You know what I mean?
Was that the mikvah originally before they built it up? That was darn cold.
Before they had heating, yeah. Before they added the heat.
All right. Well,
they
that's how
have
they
heat in
separate
there
the men
now?
from the boys. It's a whole big
Arizal's
thing
mikveh
now.
has heat.
They have like a salon. I mean, it's like a whole.
Rich, I
Okay.
was there. I have a great story about Shlomo, but I'm not going to spend time now.
We could put you on.
1967. It was before it was fixed up.
Okay, we'll put you in line after Shmuel's Chabura on the Reb Chaim on Tahaim. Anyways, okay, but okay, we'll want to stick on later for that. I think you'll have more customers for that one.
We'll have a Ritzifas, Chabura Ritzifas for Ben Azmanim special.
There you go. Anyways, okay, so now what's the case? So Kate said, Yarad Litov Amara, he goes to be toivel in a cave, and then they found out that there was this dead body floating around in the cave. Tame, so then he's Tame, right? Because that should have been known. That's something that people would, or somebody would have known about. That there's a dead body floating around in the mikveh. But let's say the mace was not floating, but it was way down in the bottom of the mikveh and it was stuck, or the way the Italians did it, right? So, and it was had cement boots or whatever it was, and it was on the bottom. So how's anybody supposed to know about it? That's Tahaim, right? So Yorad. So then it's going to depend. Yorad lahaker tar. If the Nazir just went in there to make himself cold, right? Then he's tar. Litar mitumas, because meaning he was really tar, and he has a chazaka. The Mishnah is going to say he had a chazaka that he was tar. So now he went in. Since he had a chazaka tar, he remains with his chazaka. Litaher mitumas meis. But if the reason why he went to the mikvah was to become tahar, because he was previously tamei from a different mace, then he becomes a mace and he has to start his whole thing again. Why? Shecheskas tamei tamei, cheskas tar tar. Because the one who has a chazaka that is tamei, we're going to say he remains in his state of tumah. The cheskas tar tar, and the chazaka of a tar is a tar. Sheraglayim ledavar. Now this is not your normal raglayim ledavar. Means that's what we're used to. That's not what this means here. Here it means that's what if you have, okay, we're talking about tumas at-tahaim, right? So tumas at-tahaim has a tumah, right? So we're gonna, if we know that tumas at-tahaim is matama sometimes and not matama other times, so we're gonna say that a guy who has a cheskas tumah retains his tumah if it from tumas at-tahaim, and if the guy who's tar should retain his tahara status, right?
Shouldn't it make a difference how big the pool is or how deep the tahum is, like the amount of water? Because if there's a dead guy floating in the ocean, it's not going to matame the entire ocean or a lake.
I understand. What are you saying? You're talking about where he's on the bottom of the water?
Yeah, it's a deep water. It's the home. No, are we talking about a very deep body of water here?
No.
I don't know. It's a deep enough that you have no idea that nobody has any idea that there's a dead body down there.
But see, Yaakov, if we didn't have the din of the Lachum Mishina, would you still say that svar? No.
I have no idea.
It's not. It's be a site of Lachum Mishina. There's no svar to that. What is chazaka?
Well,
a cheskas tum has nothing to do with this din.
Well, I mean,
the actual din is a Lachum Mishina. It has nothing to do with cheskas tum.
Well, because the chazaka, one chazaka has nothing to do with the other.
I'm asking, if you had no Lachum Mishina, would you say cheskas tum? You're going to be oimer on chazaka? No. You wouldn't be oimer on chazaka to be matar either. You would say he's tameh because retroactively he's tameh. What kind of svar is this?
Right. So enochanami. So that's sort of what the Gemara is saying with raglayim l'davar, with the Mishnah saying the last two words of raglayim l'davar. That's essentially what it's saying.
I just don't understand. It has nothing to do with it. Who cares about chazaka? Why are we bringing in a chazaka? Chazaka is not the reason why. We know he was tameh. Do we not know he was tameh? Yeah, and if we don't know if he was tameh, it's still
one guy was tameh, one guy was tar.
Safek tumah versus a yachid. Even if we don't know if you're tameh, a chazaka is not going to help you out here because Safek tumah versus a yachid is going to be mitame you anyways.
Machmer, correct.
So, right, and midaraisa we're going to be machmer, and you'd have to go ahead and bring kabbanos again. And we're not going to say we're worried about chul and bazar. So what does a chazaka have to do with any of this? Why bring it in at all?
Yeah, and a chanami. No, but because tumas at-tahaim sometimes is a matama, sometimes is a matap. So since sometimes it is, sometimes no, we have to pick who's going to be the tameh and who's. So
but it's not because of chazaka.
We're going to say that the tar one gets the tahar and the tameh one gets the tameh. Correct.
This is mnemonic that I was just trying to say. Use
that's why it's saying raglayim l'davar. Yeah.
Can I back up a second here? What about it makes him tummy? Did he touch it? Was he
oil?
Tumas oil. We're not worried. Even though some of Farshim ask, what do you mean? Why is it not tumas nega? Because you don't know if you touch it, but tumas oil you for sure have. Tumas oil you for sure have. Because you're in a ma'ara. It says you went in a cave. Yeah, it's not right. You're asking. You thought. If it was a regular water, then not. That's why it's saying dafka ma'ara. Yeah. Okay. Whatever it is, fine. So, welcome to the world of Tumah and Tahara. Yeah, some of it you just got to go with it. So minani. So how do we know that there's such a thing as Tumas at Tahim? So Amar Rebbe Lazar, Damar Krabach Yamas Mace Allah Bepesa Pisan. If a mace dies on him suddenly, right? Allah, right? What does the word Allah mean? It has to be clear to him, right? Meaning, if this is talking about for by a Nazir who became Tameh. So it says Yamas Mace Allah Bepesa Pisan. Meaning he didn't have a choice. He was a Nazir. He didn't want to become Tameh, but suddenly it happened upon him, Tumas Mace. So we say that the word Allah means it has to be clear to him that there was a tumah there. And a tumas at the time is not clear to anybody because nobody knows. So that's the first part. Rabbi Lazar says we learned it out from Nazir. Right? This is talking about the covering Pesach. That if he becomes tameh to a dead person or he's too far away, right? So ki derech. So we're going to compare derech to tameh. Ma derech, begaloi. Just like a derech, a street is a street, right? There's no, everybody sees the street, and that's it. It's revealed to everybody. Afkol begila, you can only be the tumah that the same pasuk is talking about. Has to be a tumah that everybody sees. So memela, a tumah that somebody touches a tumah from tumas at the home on the way to bring a korban pesach, that doesn't count. That's not going to be tumah. So we have two psukim, one by Nazir, one by Pesach, that seem to tell us that a hidden tumah is not a problem. The Gemara says, this that we learned, what's considered tumas at the definition of tumas at is that nobody recognizes it even to the end of the world. But if somebody knows about this tumah, somewhere in the end of the world, somebody knows about this tumah, that's not called tumas at the home, right? Which is a very interesting interpretation of tumas. That means there's one guy that knows that there's somebody buried in the bottom of the water, and nobody else knows such a thing. That's enough to make it a known tumah. So Gemara says Bishlam.
The Retzeach knows he's there.
That's right. That would be an example. Yeah. And he didn't tell anybody. He didn't spill the beans to anybody. So Bishlam
Since Jacob, now
in
all these like lakes that are drying up, they're seeing a lot of people that are floating now. Is
that so?
Yeah. Wow. The reservoirs.
Oh, so that's taka maybe tumas at the home. Unless you say somebody knew about it. I wonder whoever put them there.
Well, those are open air. They're not caves. I don't know.
Well, there would still be a tumas magish. Right. Fine. So Bishlam Madam Ki Derech Shaper. It's good according to Madam. It says Ki Derech. So then it works, right? Because somebody in the world knows about something. Meaning a road could be described as something where there is at least somebody in the world who knows about the road, right? That it has to be clear to him. Why is it clear to me? I'm a Nazir, right? And I walked over a grave that nobody in the world knows about except for some guy on the other side of the world. Why is that called clear to me? Because somebody on the other side of the world knows it, right? What does that have to do with clarity for the Nazir? Right? The Su, and another question, if somebody finds a mace laying across the road, right? Meaning there's no way to get around this mace without becoming tameh. Right? So meaning I don't think it means that if the mace was laying there, because obviously he would know about it. We're talking about where he went on this road and then he found out later that somebody buried a mace widthwise, right? Perpendicular to the road. So he knows that it has to be that he stepped on this mace. So Amoitzi mace mushkul l'ruchava shel derech betruma tamei. So if the reason why he's meaning not reason, but he's for truma purposes he's tamei. The nazir is Pesach tar, but if he's a nazir or he's on his way to do a korban Pesach, he's tar, right? My shna, what's the difference? Meaning either the guy's tamei or he's not tamei. Why is he tamei for truma, but he's not tamei for nazir and Pesach, right? So Maishna, so Ella Tumas Tahim. So therefore we can't learn out from the Psukim. So Ella what? Tumas Tahim Gemara Gemiri La. Tumas Tahim is Halacha L'Moshe Misinai, and therefore there are no longer any questions to be asked, because Halacha L'Moshe Misinai says that for truma you're tamei for Tumas Tahim, and for Pesach and Nazir you're not tamei. Right, and then the same thing in our Mishnah. A Tumas HaTayim is not going to cause the Nazir to have to start his Nazirus again. Right, so that's fine. So that's it. Yeah, fine. So okay. So that again. So now right now we had a Havamina that Tumas HaTayim was based on Psukim, and Maskonas HaDvarim. The Maskonas HaGemara is that it's not based on Psukim. It's Halacha L'Moshe Messina. Fine. Then the Gemara says, in the Mishnah continues, if it was before he shaved, right? So then he has to start again, whether it's Tumas HaTayim or whether it's regular Tumah. Mantana, who's the Tana, right? Meaning, who's the Tana that says that the Nazirus is over when or not over? Meaning, it's all tali in shaving the head. He says that tiglachas, right? Rabbi Eliezer said that taking the haircut is ma'akiv, right? But meaning, as long as the nazir didn't take his haircut, he's not out of his nazirus. The chachamim held that once there's 3 korbanos, right, that a nazir has to bring after his nazirus is over. The chachamim hold that once one of those behemoths has the blood sprinkled on the mizbeach, the nazirus is over, and he would not have to start his nazirus again. And Rabbi Eliezer holds, no, he has to take the haircut, right? So therefore, our Mishnah is obviously going according to Rabbi Eliezer, because if he becomes tamei and he didn't take his haircut, he has to start again, right? Fine. Let's say the nazir became tamei during his nazir days, right? Meaning he's a nazir for 30 days, he became tamei on day 20, lamashal. But he didn't know he became tamei on day 20 till after day 30, right? Or 31. Meaning either one of them, but maybe 30 is still in his nazirus. So the chayyim would have to be in day 31, right? The korbanos were on day 31. So he found out about it before he brought his korbanos. Mao. So what's it then? Do we go when he found out about it? And when he found out, he was already done with his nazirus. Or do we say no? Since the tumah happened when he was actually a nazir, what's the difference when he found out about it? Ulamai, and what's the difference? The mister, in order to be sicer his whole nazirus, right? If you say that it happened after when that he finds out about it once he's done with the nazirus, and meaning when he finds out, that's when it goes with. So he just has to wait 7 days to become tamei again, to go through the tumah process or the tahara process, and then he's fine. But if you say that it's during the malais, then he is going to have to start again 30 days. So on tamid base, so my Rava. So Rava is going to try to bring a raya from our Mishnah. Tashema, right? If before he took the haircut, bein kach saiser, right? So we said if he found out about his tumah before he took his haircut, then whether it's tumas at-tahaim, the unknown tumah, or whether it's regular standard tumah, he is saiser all his days. So what's the case? If he knew about it, he found out that he was tamei during his days, during the 30 days. Do you need to say anything? Of course he has to start again. Right? What's the question? Elalav. It must be talking about la'achar melois. It must be talking about where he became tamei during the Nazirus days, and he didn't find out till after the Nazirus days. So Shmamino must be. We see that, and the Mishnah. So the Mishnah says he has to start again. So it must be that when he finds out, even when he finds out after his Nazirus is over, but if the tumah happened when he was in the middle of his Nazirus, then he has to start again. But the Gemara asks, it's very nice. You're saying he starts over, but does he have to start over all 30, or does he have to start over all 7? Just 7, I'm sorry. Right? Is it just 7? Which means that he became Tameh after the Nazirus, then he's done. So all he needs to do is wait 7 days in order to become Tar, so he can bring his Karbanis for the Nazirus to be over, or does he have to start all over again? That you didn't answer. So Gemara asks on the question. So Laman, who is it going according to? Eli with the Rabbanon. If you say going to Rabbanon, Pshita the Kula Saisa. It's Pashit that he says the whole thing, right? Because the Rabbanon hold, right, that Tumah requires Midrabanan requires if you become tummy before you bring the Karbanas, then it requires 30 days. The Rebbe Eliezer, and if it goes to Eliezer, Kol Achar Belois Shiva Saisa, right? If he becomes tummy after the Nazirus is over, then all he has to do is wait 7 days. This is a machlokes. It's way back in the beginning of the Sefer. I don't remember what daf, but it's again the Rabbanan hold that if he becomes tummy before he brings the Karbanas, but after his Nazirus is over, he has to start the whole Nazirus again. Rebbe Eliezer says no, he just has to wait 7 days, right? So he said, Hani Mili. I lost the place. Okay, hold on. So Hani Mili Kinitma Achar Melois. This is talking about where he became Tameh after the Melois, after the Nazirus is over. And one is talking about where it was before it was over. Or maybe Shanayacha, the idea Achar Malaisi. Maybe here is different because he found out about it after his Nazirus is over. Umina Katani, and from that we could learn out Benkachu Benkach Saisa, then he's Saisa, whether it's for Tumas Atahaim or the regular Tumah, the Loika Miflagi, and it doesn't differentiate here, it doesn't mean argue, doesn't differentiate with whether he became Tameh at the beginning or at the end, right? So meaning, he's doing he's asking in Shitas Rebbe Eliezer, right? Is Shitas Rebbe Eliezer that he found out about it, meaning Rebbe Eliezer holds you only have to wait 7 days, but if you become Tameh after the Nazirus is over. Question is what would happen according to Rebbe Eliezer if he was tummy within the 30 and then he found out about it right afterwards, right? So that would be the shaila, yeah. Yeah, fine. So that's Rabbi Bacham Shaila. The Gemara doesn't seem to answer it, right? About what the din is. Okay, fine. Tana Rabbanon. The Rabbanon learned. Now we're going to go through this case of this mace laying across the road. So Tana Rabbanon, mace mutal. They find out that the street that this guy went to on his way to bring the Korban Pesach or a Nazir or for Truma, whatever it is, they found out that there was a dead body laying across the road. So the Truma Tameh, if he's going for Truma, so then he's Tameh, meaning let's say he's a Kayin. So Kayin eats Truma. He's not allowed to because he's Tameh. Uber Nazir writes a Pesach Tar. But by Nazir, and he's going to bring Korban Pesach is Tar, which we said is halacha l'Moshe Misinai. Otherwise, why should the Gemara differentiate between Truma and Nazir and Pesach? So then the Gemara says a few disclaimers. That's only where there's no place to pass. Meaning, they find out that the body was 5 feet tall, let's say, and the road was 5 feet wide. So there was no way to justify, or I don't know if justify is the right word. There's no way to how do you say it? To be toilet. What do you say? Which word, Avi?
Like to navigate. Use the shoulder.
Right, meaning right. He would right. We can't say that. Oh, he went around something like that. He was rerouted, right? He was rerouted. There's no way to say that. Aval yesh le makom lavar. But if there was theoretically a place for him to go, after truma tar, even for truma's tar, right? And what's the pshat? Because this l'chayr is rishus harabim, and we know that tuma rishus harabim, a suffix tuma rishus harabim is tar, right? So it's a suffix. You don't know. Maybe the guy decided to walk on the edge of the road at that point. That's one, right? But Medvar says that next thing is, when are we saying it? Shematzu shalim. That's where, whenever it is that they discovered the body, when they were digging up the road in order to make a new road, that's what happens, or whatever, anything along those lines, they found the body complete. Havel meshubar and befuruk. But if they find the body broken or split apart, afilu ein makam lavar, then even if there's no place to pass, chashin and shema bein pirkin avar, maybe he got in between the bones, meaning you have bones scattered all over across the road that they discovered when they dug. So we could say, who says that this kohen or this nazir, well, the nazir in the Korban Pesach anyways, who says this kohen for the truma walked over the mace? Maybe he happened to have walked in between. Again, using the same rule of suffix tumah b'rishus harabim is tar, right? Ubekever, but if it was actually a kever, right, which means that meaning it wasn't just like a chick-chock thing that there was a body with dirt on it. It was clearly shoveled out, and there was either walls there, or however they make a kever. But it was a kever, I feel mashum furik tame. Then even if it's broken up, it's tame b'nei kever mitzarfoi. We had this a couple of blot ago, that the kever combines it, that the entire kever gives off tumah, even if there are spots in the middle of the kever that it doesn't give off tumah, right? Which actually plays in a little bit to matzah baking. I happen to have gone to a matzah bakery today. I didn't bake matzahs and I didn't buy matzahs. Okay, I just went to see it. That's all. But they do it afrashas challah. They don't take off challah till later, right? So you have all the challah. If it's meaning you have baked matzahs, they put it into a box, right? Aaron Kaplan, you can fill the element on this line. You put it into a box, and then you take out one matzah, because that box combines all the matzahs to be, even though they're baked, combines all the matzahs to be one chefza, right?
But the baker I go to, they do when the wagons come up way before it's boxed.
Yeah, I'm saying, but they do it after it's baked. When they're
we did it also, and the wagons after it came out of the oven before it went upstairs to package.
I'm saying, but you're taking challah from different batches.
Correct.
Right? Different. So, but the box is mitzaref them all, so that you could just take off one matzah and then you're good to go. Right? That's because when it's in a box, it combines everything together. Well, this is a little bit more gory than that, but that's essentially, it's the same yesod, I think. Right, that a grave, it combines all the bones and it's one big, it's a kliyas mitzaref or whatever it is, ben amukuf, however you want to say it. Anyways, I'm just trying to bring it into some Yonah Diyama besides for that.
Isn't it? I thought that's like Russia also. It's like a chiddush, no? That the kever mitzaref is mitzaref. Didn't we say that earlier? We had the darshan from a pasuk, oy bekever. For a kever.
What do you mean?
For the Indian that a kever is mitzaref to create an oil, the whole mitzad, the whole kever is a chiddush, no? It's one type of pasuk.
Yeah.
It's not stam. It's not because stam. It's a chiddush in the din of tumah.
No, I thought we said that was for something else.
Isn't that for kever?
I don't remember. I don't know.
Why should it be mitzaref to be mal? Where would we get such a din from?
No, mal. The whole kever gives off the tumah.
Why?
That whole box.
Why? If you need a shalom,
because that's what a box does. That's what
I'm saying.
one.
I think it's darshan from a pasuk. I'm not mistaken.
I'm sure by Chalatz also. I think it's
no. I'm just saying. I thought it was a unique din in the din of Tuma.
Oh, that I don't. I didn't think so, but maybe it could be. Could be. But I don't think so.
No,
but
you
maybe
don't
it's
need
a
a
din of
shalim
both.
to give up tuma. You need a shalim because of the suffix tuma.
I don't know. Tysus over here brings it down as a finish. He says it's one time the pasuk bekever. Like we said earlier, that's what Tysus says.
Yeah, but that again, but it's the same. It's the same yisoid that a kaver combines everything together, right? Meaning
right,
a box.
But that's a chiddush. But if you didn't have that pasuk bekever, you would never say such a din. Well, then what do we need a Torah for? You can just say stop.
I think it's.
Everyone knows
saying
that
in a din. You're saying it in a din in Tuma and Tara.
What else would bekever be doing? Bekever l'rabis kever sashem sha'ivrav af kneged a reikon shebekever mitamed ba'el.
That's something else.
No, that's what Tysus says in the Gabe the din.
No, I know, but that's the whole kaver is. Even that's Akiva. That's the whole kaver. Even the extended parts that have nothing to do with that, with the body.
Tysus says. Tysus says, "I feel him shuber refer tummy shekever mitzarf l'tam ba'el k'darshin and bekever l'rabis kever sashem." He says that's shot in it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be mitame. Tysus is saying.
Yeah, but that's I think that's talking about the extended part of the keva, where there's no body there whatsoever. Yeah. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Okay, Belina, I'll try and see. But anyways, so bottom line is if it's all, even if it's split up, if it's all part of one keva, then it's all tame, right? But medvar, and then another one. But medvar amurim, right? But mahalach beraglov. That's only if he's walking with his feet. Havaton. But if has a load, he's carrying a load, ayrachav, or he's riding on an animal, right? Tame, he's still tame. Why? The fisha mahalach beraglov. When you're walking, efshaloi shaloi yiga. You might not touch the tame, v'shaloi yasit, v'shaloi yal. And you're not going to move it, right? The tumas hesed means that the tumah where you're going to move things, or v'shaloyal, or you're not going to become an oil over it, right? Ton ayrachav, but if you're holding on to a load, or you're riding on an animal, it's impossible not to touch v'shaloyasit, or to move or to carry v'shaloyal, and that you're not going to make a tent over it. So meaning if you're any of those cases, then we have to say that that's not a tumas suffix anymore. That's a tumas vade between the kicking up the bones. I think that's what hesed means. That when you're walking, you're gonna with a load or something like that, or with an animal, you might kick up bones, right? Or you're gonna make a tent over it, or you're just gonna touch it. So then it's no longer a suffix tumah, then it's a vade tumah. Fine, and then b'medor tumas atahaim. This is all by tumas at the time where nobody knew about it. Aval tumah yedua, but tumah yedua shloshtan tameim. Then everybody's tamei, right? Meaning the truma, nazir, and pesach, like we said, right? That this is all a heter for truma from tahaim. But if it's a obvious tumah, then he's going to be tamei for everything. Ve'ezehi tumas at tahaim. And what's considered tumas at the haim? Kol she'en makira echa b'sayfa ha'olam. If there isn't somebody in the end of the world that doesn't know, meaning there's nobody in the world that had any idea that this body was buried there. Makira echa b'sayfa ha'olam. If somebody does recognize at the end of the world, ein zu tumas at the haim, then it's not tumas at the haim. Right? Okay, so that's your basic brisa of tumas at the haim. Hayataman b'teven oivitzroiros. Let's say that the body was hidden under straw or rocks, right? Meaning it wasn't buried under the ground. It was just under rocks and straw. Harezu tumas tahaim. That's called tumas tahaim, because how are you supposed to know that there's a body under there? By yamim uba'afela ubenikike haslam. But if it was in the ocean, meaning you saw it, right? Meaning it was visible. Right? It wasn't. That's what Tyson says. It wasn't covered. but it's in the ocean, or it's in a place that's very dark, or it's in the cracks that are inside the rocks, meaning I guess that means like in the mountains. So ain't zu tumas time. It's not tumas time. Meaning even if it's in places that l'chayra nobody's going to see it, right? But since it's visible to somebody or something, that's not tumas time. And we also, and the last thing we're saying about tumas time is that it only applies to mace, meaning this suffix tumah that nobody knew about only applies to tumas mace. It doesn't apply to any other tumah. Now, what should be a hidden tumah by any other tumah, right? So what do you call it? The Gemara in Pesachim says that it's talking about the tumas zav, right? That on the last day, his 7th day came out on Erev Pesach. Right? It's Mamash and Yonah the Yoma, right? So if the zav, the 7th day falls on Erev Pesach, right? And he went to the mikvah, and then they brought the carbon Pesach for him, right? But then that day, later the day, he became Tumas Zav. He saw again, right? He needs Shiva Nikiyim. A Zav needs 7 clean days. So he thought he was clean on the 7th day. He did his mikvah and all that. All he needs is Harav Shemesh. So they brought the carbon Pesach for him. And then right before Shkia, he saw again, right? So if you're going to say it's Tumas Atahaim, because how is anybody supposed to know he's going to see Tumas Zav again later on in the day, right? How's anybody supposed to know? But he did. So if you say that Tumas Atahaim would apply, he would be able to be part of the Karban Pesach, right? But it doesn't. We say that Tumas Atahaim is only a heter for Tumas Mace. It's not a heter for any other Tumah. Yeah. Okay. I hope it was. I mean, it's Tumah and Tara, and Tumas Atahaim with Halach L'Moishim B'Sinai. It's a good recipe for confusion. But anyways, okay, we'll stop over there.
Jacob, look at that. You can make
themselves a fine night. What?
You make Myers tonight.
Yes, I'm gonna have to make Myrav tonight. Yes, I hope so. Yeah. Yeah. And nobody's asking any kashas because it's Tuma. No kashas, huh?
He's looking at you, Gershi. He's looking at you.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. So then I'm gonna log off so I can actually make it to Myrav. Fine. All right. Have yourself a fine night. All right. Bye-bye.
What's going on here? Hello?